Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to book more meetings with cold email and the real levers nobody talks about. Now, I'm releasing this video today because we are at the end of Q1 going into Q2, and I want you to maximize the last remaining bit of Q1 that you can. So cold email is a linear game. More emails equals more meetings, which equals more money. That's the whole equation, and it's not more complicated than that. The problem is that most people who are not getting the results they want from cold email are diagnosing the wrong problem. They assume the issue is technical, they blame the deliverability, they buy new inboxes, they obsess over spam words, and they pause their campaigns halfway through because the numbers look bad. Now, if this is you, please do not pause your campaigns. The number one thing we want in business as a whole is data. And if you pause it only a week in, you're not going to get that data. And I guarantee you there will be a gold mine waiting behind those follow-up emails in a couple of days' time if you just let your emails run their course. Now, usually, none of that technical stuff is the issue. The issue is usually one of three things: the offer, the targeting, or the volume. And the path to more meetings is usually always simpler than people make it out to be. Now, this doc covers the real levers that determine how many meetings you book from cold email and what to actually focus on to move them. This is part of an ongoing series where I'm documenting my cold email campaigns and agency building in real time. If you're new here, my name is Dominic Schwantes. I'm the founder of Workflows, a B2B AI lead generation agency. I document everything I do in real time, the campaigns, the systems, and the results. What you'll find in this document is based on what actually works, not just some theory. So when a cold email campaign is not performing, the instinct is to blame deliverability. Your inboxes are getting burnt, your domains are getting flagged, and your spam filters are blocking everything. Now, this is almost never the actual problem. If you're using Google Workspace or Microsoft Outlook inboxes, you're fine. These are trusted sending environments, but it is genuinely difficult to burn an inbox when you're sending under 500 to 1,000 emails per day. The infrastructure has been figured out at the industry level, and it's really hard to mess this up. Now, if you're using a third-party service like Scoured Mail, you never have to worry about burning inboxes because they will set it all up for you. All you have to do is give the Scoured Mail guys access to where your domains are being kept, such as Namecheap or GoDaddy, and from there they will hook up all the inboxes to SmartLead for you, so you don't even have to worry about messing that up. Deliverability becomes a real concern when you are consistently getting poor results across 5 to 10 complete campaigns in a row. Now, you can only judge that after the campaigns have been finished, not halfway through. So like we mentioned before, don't stop them halfway through because you think they're getting bad results. We need as much data as humanly possible. Now, a campaign that starts slow and ends at a reasonable positive reply rate was never a deliverability problem. Now, the real reason people blame deliverability is because it feels like a technical problem with a technical solution. Buying new inboxes is a concrete action that feels productive, but it almost never addresses the actual issue, which is almost always the offer, the targeting, or the copy. I'm going to reiterate this again. Please stop pausing campaigns before they finish. You only have half the data. The second email in the sequence is often where the majority of replies come from. Let them run in its entirety. Now, lever number one is the infrastructure. If you want to book more meetings, you need to send more emails. Cold email is linear. If you send twice as many emails, you book twice as many meetings. That's the whole equation. The only way to send more emails sustainably is to have more inboxes and more domains. 2 inboxes per domain is standard, particularly for Gmail. Now, Outlook can handle way more inboxes than 2. They can handle up to 25. Work backwards from your target volume to figure out how many domains and inboxes you need. The maths are straightforward. Now, my personal example is that I had 74 domains across 14 inboxes when I was sending 1,000 cold emails a day. Now, the keyword is to do this sustainably. You could send more volume overnight, but doing it without the right infrastructure or without Spintax will burn your domains within days. The volume needs to be matched with the systems to support it. Now, if you're using Scoured Mail, they will help you with this. You don't have to do this alone. Lever number 2 is the lead lists and the total addressable market. Now, if you want to send 10 times the volume, you need 10 times the leads. Most people hit a ceiling not because of deliverability, but because they have run out of people to email. This happens faster than expected. A niche that seemed large enough for a few hundred emails per week stops being large enough when you're trying to send thousands. The solution is to expand the pool. That means branching beyond your initial sub-niche into adjacent ones. For example, if you started with legal tech SaaS, try boutique law firms, compliance consultancies, and legal operation teams. So I started with staffing and recruitment firms, and then I tried B2B SaaS, and I sub-niched down into fintech and marketing tech. They are different angles to the same broader category. You need to launch multiple campaigns across multiple sub-niches, adjusting the offer framing for each, because different types of businesses within the same broad category respond to different angles. This is also where getting good at list lead building compounds over time. The more lists you build, the faster and more targeted the building gets. It's a skill that improves with repetition. Now, a practice rule on sequences. Keep the sequences to 2 emails max when sending at high volume. Email 2 is often where the reply comes from. Beyond 2, you start annoying people who are not interested, which generates spam complaints and damages your sending reputation far more than any supposed deliverability issue. Lever 3 is the offer. The offer is the most important variable, not the copy, not the subject line, but the offer itself. If your campaign is consistently generating very low positive reply rates across multiple completed campaigns with good targeting, the offer is the first place to look. The copy can be fixed and the targeting can be tightened. But if the underlying offer does not resonate, no amount of copy optimization will save it. For cold traffic specifically, the offer needs to either be a performance basis or a risk reversal of some kind. Someone receiving a cold email has no reason to trust you. A performance-based structure removes the risk of trusting an unknown sender. That structure is what gets people to respond at all. Now, do not overcomplicate the offer. A clear, simple statement of what result you deliver, for whom under what terms, is more effective than an elaborate pitch. Most beginners mistake complexity for persuasion, but the opposite is usually true. Now, a bad offer example sounds like we leverage AI-powered systems to optimize your pipeline. Not great. A better one is we book meetings with companies that need contractors and you only pay when we deliver. Now, let's compare the two statements. The first statement was talking about AI-powered outbound systems. To a normal business owner, that's just complete fluff and doesn't mean anything to them. All they care about is that their pipeline is full and you can get them that desired result. The second statement was also more appealing because it had a risk reversal, which is you only pay when you get results. The first one didn't have that. Always sell the desired outcome, never sell the implementation. You use AI to do the work faster, you don't sell AI as the final outcome to the client. Cool? Now, one important note, do not avoid words like guarantee in your copy out of fear of spam filters. Simple direct language that clearly communicates the offer outperforms overly engineered copy that dances around saying what it means every single time. Some of the highest performing campaigns are the ones written in the most straightforward and casual manner. Lever number 4 is the copy and the spin tax. Now, copy matters, but it's not the primary variable. Volume and targeting matter more. The mistake most beginners make is spending disproportionate time perfecting copy when the actual constraint is the volume or the offer quality. That said, copy at scale has one critical technical requirement, which is spin syntax. Now, when you are sending thousands of emails, you shouldn't send the exact same text to thousands of people. Spam filters do detect repeated identical content patterns across multiple sends and flag them. Spin tax creates variations of the same email so that each send is technically unique, preventing that pattern detection. The process is simple. Write the email copy. When it's at a solid standard, paste it into an AI model and ask it to spin tax the copy. The AI will produce a version with multiple variation options embedded inline. Then you want to load that into SmartLead and the system randomizes across the variations on each send. Beyond spin tax, the personalization in cold email copy should be minimal. First name, company name, and a relevance line explaining how you found them or why you're reaching out is more than enough. Over-personalization comes across as fake. Internal corporate emails are often single sentences with no formatting and casual punctuation. Getting closer to that register rather than polished marketing copy tends to perform better. Lever number 5 is success multipliers. This is the lever most people building cold email agencies never think about, and it's one of the most powerful ones. Success multipliers are everything you do outside of cold email that influences a prospect's decision to respond when they receive your email. I guarantee you the first thing someone does is when they get a cold email from you, they copy your name from the signature block of that email and paste it into Google. They're checking whether you're a real person who actually does what you say you do. What they find in that moment either adds to their trust in you or removes it. And trust is the only thing that determines whether a cold email converts. Now, there are 3 main success multipliers. The first is social proof. Client testimonials are the most powerful form of social proof you've got. A prospect who searches your name and finds video testimonials from real clients gets a significant trust signal that no amount of copy can replicate. If you don't have client video testimonials yet, that's totally fine. The alternative is content that generates your competence. Tutorials showing how you approach the work, breakdowns of how you would approach a specific problem, and internal case studies documenting your process and results. Any of these tells a prospect that you actually know what you're doing and that you've been doing it for a while. The second success multiplier is social presence. Being visible on topics you claim expertise in consistently over time builds authority that compounds. A prospect who searches your name and finds a YouTube channel, a LinkedIn profile, and written content all discussing cold email and lead generation is a prospect who already has a partially warm relationship with you before they've even replied to a single email. The content doesn't need to be highly produced. A screen recording walking through your process, posted with a clear title, does the job, exactly like this. The main thing that matters is that it exists. Prospects are not judging production value, they are checking whether you're a real operator who knows the subject. A clear landing page with a VSL is the third multiplier. When a prospect receives a cold email and considers responding, they will check whether you have a website. A professional landing page with a VSL that clearly explains who you are and what you deliver adds a trust point that is missing from a generic website. These 3 things do not add up linearly, they compound. Each additional signal of legitimacy and competence pushes the prospect further along the trust scale. Getting someone to respond requires roughly a 6 or 7 out of 10 on the trust scale. Getting someone to close requires an 8 or 9. Success multipliers are what build the points between 0 and those thresholds. Cold email alone is a weaker channel than cold email combined with visible authority. Every piece of content you create, every testimonial you collect, every time you show up in search results as a credible operator is working in the background to improve the conversion rate of every email you send. Now, it's also really important that you read your campaign data correctly. When you are sending at higher volume, you will be generating more data than before, so reading it correctly really does matter. Having a low overall reply rate does not automatically mean a problem. What matters is the positive reply rate and whether that is converting to booked meetings. A campaign with a 0.6 overall reply rate but a 30% positive reply rate and consistent meetings being booked is performing well. A campaign with a 3% reply rate but almost no positive replies has an offer or targeting problem. Track the variables that went into each campaign: the niche, the headcount, the offer framing, the type of campaign, the send time zone, and the day of the week. All of these affect results, and none of them are visible in the campaign analytics alone. The context around the data is what allows you to draw useful conclusions from it. Do not judge a campaign before it's finished. Many replies come from the second email in the sequence. A campaign that looks flat at 40% completion may look very different at 100%. Do not compare your reply rates to screenshots posted on social media either. Inflated reply rates that include out-of-office order replies are also common. The only metric that matters is meetings booked. Each level of these levers compound with the others. More infrastructure allows more volume. More volume generates more data. Better data improves targeting. Better targeting improves positive reply rates. Better positive reply rates produce more meetings, and more meetings produce more clients. More clients produce more case studies. Case studies become social proof. Social proof becomes a success multiplier that improves the conversion rate of every future campaign. Do you see how the cycle works? Every time you progress to the next step, you gain more momentum until you get all the way to the bottom of the hill and you get to the case study stage. That's where your ultimate leverage happens. Keep in mind, none of this happens overnight, but it's all directional. Every improvement to any one of those levers improves the output of the whole system. This is what makes cold email one of the most scalable client acquisition channels available when it's built and operated correctly. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos, and I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video.